there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we try our best to bring the best and most accurate information that we can.
And this is our first time recording together since we've been back from our annual Florida trip.
Yes.
So I know it was torturous having to go a week without a new episode of your favorite podcast. But, you know, I don't really have any wildlife or animal related things to report about the trip. We did go to Disney World. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I saw some animals there.
Yeah, we went to the animal one, but very briefly at night.
Yeah, and it was at night, so we didn't even see anything. Like,
Yeah.
it was too dark to although, like, the light setups were really, really cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I saw an anhinga. I saw a lot of ibises.
Pelicans.
We saw pelican. Oh, yeah, we did. We saw so Oh, that reminds me. When we were driving over, anyone who's ever been in like the Tampa St. Pete area knows the like 1 billion mile long bridge to get into St. Pete. And we were driving across that bridge, which takes like 37 years. And we looked out the window and there's tons of pelicans flying around and they're like diving into the water. It looks so cool. And I'm like, oh, check it out. It's pelicans. And Finley in the back seat, who's 5, he goes, pelicans are real. He was like so shocked that pelicans are real. I was like, I don't know why you would have thought they weren't.
Yeah. Well, he's been at that phase where he's always asking if something is real or not. So he's still figuring that out, I think.
That's true. It is difficult for him to parse sometimes what things are made up and what things are real.
They're like real and just he hasn't seen in person yet.
The difference between dinosaurs and dragons really trips him up a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult for him to process which things are dinosaurs and which things are dragons.
Things that used to be real but are no longer.
Yeah, that one's a little tricky for a kid, right?
Yeah.
To understand, like, okay, yes, I mean, they're real, like, they're not fictional, but like they're not here anymore.
Right.
It's hard to explain to a kid. That's actually a good transition into the animal that I'll be talking about this week that I'm very excited about.
Which is?
The Tasmanian Devil.
Oh, we haven't?
No, we haven't.
Huh.
I know. That's what the requester said.
We talked about something tangential at least, I'm pretty sure.
I know exactly what it is.
What was it?
The thylacine.
Okay.
The Tasmanian tiger.
Oh, okay.
And they are extinct. And I will talk a lot more about, there are a lot of parallels between the Tasmanian devil and the Tasmanian tiger. Some very similar things happened to them.
Okay.
And they have a lot in common. And I'll go into that more throughout the episode. But for the Tasmanian devil, their scientific name is Sarcophilus harrisii. Probably named after someone named Harris. There's like an older scientific name for them that was like Sarcophilus, like satanicus or something like that, which then they ended up changing it. And what a bummer, man. Like, what a downgrade, you know?
Yeah.
They should have kept the cool one. Instead, they got, I don't even know who Harris is.
It's not the creator of the Bugs Bunny stuff, is it?
Oh, are you going for a Looney Tunes Taz kind of thing? No, certainly not.
Okay.
Certainly not.
Okay.
But the Sarcophilus part of the name means a flesh lover, which is a cool name.
Huh.
Yeah. This species was submitted by Maria Minadeo. Thank you, Maria. I, too, am surprised we haven't done this one yet. But once I was like, you know what? I'm a look to see if there's meat on the bone, pardon the sort of pun, but there was. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about this.
All right.
I'm getting my information from the Tasmanian government's Department of Natural Resources and Environment, as well as the Australian Museum and the San Diego Zoo, where I'm going this weekend. I'm really, well, I mean, this weekend for me right now. No, yeah, this will be up this week. So yeah.
That's up to you,
for
baby.
you guys. So for everybody, I'm going this weekend. So if you want to follow along with that San Diego adventure, follow me on like Instagram and stuff. That's probably where I'll be posting about it. Anyway, I'm also going to do a thing that a listener requested, that I begin putting the citations in the show notes. So like when we do like article, like scientific papers and stuff like that, putting those in the episode description. So links to the papers and stuff that I cite will be in that too.
Yeah.
Now, for the Tasmanian devil, how big do you think they are?
Not big.
You don't think they're big?
I think they're like cat-sized.
Now, did you cheat? Like, what kind of insight do you have? Why do you know this? I thought they were big.
I've looked into them before, which was why I'm wondering, like, did we not?
Oh, yeah, maybe we chickened out in the past for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a lot smaller than I thought. I thought they were, like, huge.
Yeah.
They're not.
Because of the Looney Tunes?
I guess because of Looney Tunes? Okay, for people that don't, like, live in Australia, we don't know anything about Tasmanian devils other than the cartoon. The cartoon is the only exposure I think a lot of people ever have to the concept of a Tasmanian devil. And a lot of people also don't realize that they are a real animal.
Right.
They thought they were made up for the cartoon.
Yeah.
Which the cartoon takes enough liberties with the concept that, like, essentially that was made up for the cartoon. It stretches conceivability to call it a Tasmanian devil.
Even then, I feel like it's such a deep cut for them to make a Looney Tunes character off of.
It does seem, I'm like, why did you pick this animal?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of glad they did, though, because now a lot of people know about them. You know, there's like a lot of marsupials that the vast majority of the world just has never heard of. Right. And I feel like the Tasmanian devil really benefited from the Looney Tunes bump for that one.
Could you, if you can, refresh my memory on the geopolitical things around the island of Tasmania?
Tasmania is an island off of the southeastern coast of Australia.
Right. The main thing I was wondering is it under, like, is it considered part of Australia?
Yes.
Like, politically? Okay.
Politically, yes, it is part of Australia.
Okay.
And it's a good thing you asked that, because Tasmanian devils actually used to be widespread throughout Australia, but they went extinct on the mainland and became isolated to the island of Tasmania around 3,500 years ago. Now, if this sounds familiar, it's because it's nearly the exact same thing that happened to the thylacine.
Right.
Same timeline and everything. Like, they used to be common throughout the mainland, went extinct on the mainland, but had this sort of holdout population on the island of Tasmania. And if you want to go back and listen to what we had to say about the thylacine, that was episode 185.
Ooh.
So, what happened a little over 3,000 years ago that would have pushed these two carnivores, who would have kind of been, I guess the thylacine would have been an apex predator. The Tasmanian devil probably would have been a predator, a little bit more of a scavenger, but like something significant had to have happened to push these two very successful predators out of the mainland. Can you guess what happened?
Did you say 3,000 years?
3 to 4,000 years ago. So like 3,500-ish.
Is that when humans came to the continent?
Humans have been on the continent for about 40,000 years.
Okay, so not that.
But this was a time of significant growth in human population. So human population changes are actually one of the sort of leading hypotheses about the push out of thylacine and Tasmanian devils.
Okay.
There's a couple of other things that happened around this time. So one hypothesis is changing climate. At this time, there were really, really intense El Nino events, which are these like weather patterns that happen in the sort of like southern Pacific region. Basically, they made the region a lot more dry and stressed out plants. And stressing out plants has these sort of ripple effects up the food chain. You know, fewer plants means fewer herbivores. Fewer herbivores means less food for predators, like thylacine and Tasmanian devil. So that has kind of been thrown around as like an idea. A 2021 study actually kind of analyzed like the physiological impacts that a warmer, drier climate would have had on the Tasmanian devils, and kind of suggested that like, well, yeah, it wouldn't have been super comfortable for the devils during that time. It's probably not something that would have stressed them to the point of going extinct.
Right.
And that paper's title was "Too Hot for the Devil? Did Climate Change Cause the Mid-Holocene Extinction of the Tasmanian Devil, Sarcophilus heresii from mainland Australia?" I like that title, "Too Hot for the Devil." So like I mentioned, humans have been in Australia for around 40,000 years. But populations were pretty low and sparse. Like they were small populations, really spread out, kind of like in specific areas in Australia, because a lot of Australia was uninhabitable for like a long period of time.
And this was long before European colonizers showed
Long
up.
before. Yeah. So for about 35,000 years, human populations were pretty small in Australia. But then around 5,000 years ago, things pop off in Australia. Monsoon systems start to bring water inland and into places that had been uninhabitable before. So now humans are able to expand and settle in places that they hadn't been able to before. So you get this like huge boom in population. You also get technological advances. You get social changes. People start living in one place for a longer time. And so you just start to have these big human demographic shifts that would have put them both in increasing conflict with Tasmanian devils, where they would have been competing for the same prey, but also humans would have been getting better at killing them, right? Like better technology, better, social organization, like they're getting more efficient. And that paper was called Holocene Demographic Changes in the Emergence of Complex Societies in Prehistoric Australia. But then, in addition to this sort of intensification of human presence, around 4,000 years ago, humans that traveled to Australia overseas from Southeast Asia, so like Indonesia, bring something with them. Do you know what it is?
Is it rats?
It's not rats this time. I mean, rats are there, but they're not a huge problem for the Tasmanian devil and the thylacine. Rats are surprisingly not the bad guy this time.
You got past this time.
Yeah, this time, but you're on thin ice. I've got my eye on you.
Was it another predator?
It is another predator.
Is it cats?
No, think Australia. Something that humans bring with them into Australia.
The dingoes.
It's dingoes, yeah.
Okay.
So dingoes come over into Australia with humans around 4,000 years ago. And dingoes are predators who, in addition to being physically much larger than Tasmanian devils. Like we mentioned, Tasmanian devils are only like 2 feet long. They max out at like 30 pounds. They're like you said, like cat size. I would say
like husky cat sized.
Yeah, a chunky cat.
Yeah.
Like a small dog, like little dog size.
Yeah.
Dingoes are much physically larger than them. And also dingoes are pack hunters. So they can just easily overpower the Tasmanian devil, like directly. Like if they were fighting, they could just like overthrow them. And also the dingoes are better at hunting prey than the Tasmanian devils are. So they're both being outcompeted and just physically overpowered.
So are what we call dingoes today really the ancestors of these domestic dogs that came over? Or are they one and the same still?
Dingoes today probably have a lot more domestic dog. It's going to be a little bit of interbreeding with domestic dogs that get brought in later. Sure. But there's actually a lot of we talked about this in the dingo episode, but this was years ago. There's actually some contention as to whether dingoes can be considered their own species or not.
Right.
Because this was such a recent sort of it was only 4,000 years ago. Evolutionarily, that's 10 seconds, but they've been isolated from other dogs for long enough. They have some things that make them distinct enough to be considered their own species, but there's a lot of back and forth as to whether they should be considered their own species or just a subspecies of either wolf or domestic dog. I can't claim to be the person with the answer to that. Sure. But as with any sort of, you see this with coyotes and wolves and dogs, you see interbreeding, right? We see that in North America too, right? Our coyotes are starting to have a little bit of dog DNA and we get coy wolves, right? Those species are so closely related that you're gonna see some interbreeding over time. But dingoes, their ancestors would have been these dogs that came over on boats from Indonesia.
Interesting.
Yeah. We talked about dingoes a very long time ago. And then it's interesting because it's they've been there for 4,000 years. At what point do you consider them a native species?
Right.
Because they were an invasive species at some point, but they've been there for a really long time. So when do you start to consider them native? How long do they have to be there before you get to consider them native?
Yeah.
Especially when the introduction of the dingo caused this sort of local extinction of all these other things. And now this is getting ahead of me a little bit, but if you start to reintroduce those species, where does the dingo fall in this? The dingoes are still there.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Now do you decide that you're going to, prioritize one over the other just because one was there longer? Like, I don't know.
It made me think of a complaint I see a lot about Seattle.
Oh, the dingoes are the transplants?
No. There's that, oh man, people got to take their dogs everywhere.
That's even funnier than what I thought. I thought you were gonna say about the people complaining about transplants.
No.
Which, I mean, we're transplants, so
we're in good company.
Yeah. So the presence of the dingo, the intensification of human activity in the Tasmanian Devil's like habitats, and also a little bit of like pressure from this changing climate. Just a lot of features happening at once. A lot of things happening at once that contribute to Tasmanian devils no longer being found in most of Australia and being kind of sequestered to this island of the Tasmanian devil and the thylacine. Because remember, the thylacine didn't go extinct until the 1930s.
Right, we have like pictures and stuff of them.
Yeah, we've got like video from a camera. That's wild. But for, that amount of time between 4,000 years ago and the 1930s, the two species both lived in Tasmania together.
And they were very far apart, like evolutionary.
I'm glad you asked about that, because the taxonomic family that Tasmanian devils belong to is called Dasyuridae. This is a family of marsupials that are known for generally being more carnivorous than the others. Thylacines didn't belong to this family, but they were kind of like the next family over. So they're like kind of close. As far as marsupials go, one of the closest relatives to the Tasmanian devil now is called the quoll. You ever heard of a quoll?
I don't think so.
Let me show you a picture. They're so cute. Look how cute this is.
Oh, so little.
Isn't it adorable?
Mm-hmm.
And something interesting I just want to talk about marsupials is that for a very long time, so from like about 100 million years ago to 15 million years ago, so it's like an 85 million year period of time, Australia was far enough away from the other continents that monotremes and marsupials, so monotremes are the egg-laying mammals, they're like platypuses and echidnas. So monotremes and marsupials were the only mammals in Australia. That's it. They didn't have rodents. They didn't have bats. They didn't have cats. They didn't have any rabbits, nothing.
Yeah.
It was just marsupials. So because marsupials kind of had the run of the place, they adapted to fill a lot of the ecological niches that placental mammals were filling in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So you basically end up with marsupial versions of like every other type of mammal. You've got like marsupial mice, marsupial shrews.
Because like 100 million years ago puts them before the meteor extinction, right?
Yes, that would have put them before the Chicxulub impact.
Yeah.
And then, the extinction of the dinosaurs, awesome for mammals. Great time for mammals. If you're a mammal, you are like, yes, this is our time, baby. But so you get basically like these marsupial analogs of like every other type of mammal, which is really interesting to me. You see like marsupial gliders, like like sugar gliders. Even like in the Pleistocene, so like the Ice Age, there were these giant herbivores that looked like wombat hippos.
Whoa.
Yeah, like they were like the size of hippos. They look kind of like, if you mixed a wombat and a hippo together, it's called Diprotodon. And they traveled in these massive like migrating herds, and it was like exactly like what you see in like rhinos and hippos and these like large like Ice Age megafauna. And the marsupials did that too. So they just like converged in every possible scenario. They were like, gotta converge them all.
So in hindsight, when mammals from the rest of the planet were introduced, it makes total sense that, now there's overlapping niches and only one's going to come out. Yeah,
there's going to be some competition.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I feel like the Tasmanian devil is the marsupial badger. It's like it's giving badger to me. Maybe even particularly the honey badger. But to me, it has that little squat punk kind of like, they're feisty. They think they're bigger than they are, like that's the attitude to me. It's giving badger.
You know that honey badger character on the Lion King show?
Oh, yeah.
That's the vibe I'm that keeps coming up in my head.
Yeah.
And I know that's a honey badger and not a Tasmanian devil. But
No, because I feel like that's the convergence with Tasmanian devils. That's what I feel like they are. They feel like badgers to me. Particularly, I should specify American badgers, not the beautiful, precious babies that are European badgers.
The noses and the ears.
They're so polite. Not the polite gentlemen, not those. I'm talking about our rowdy cowboys of the American badger. Getting into effectiveness, which if this is anyone's first time listening to this podcast, are physical traits, things built into the animal's body that let them do a good job of the things they're trying to do. I'm giving them a 9 out of 10. And one of the first things that you notice about the Tasmanian devil when you look at them is that, so even though their body is, like you mentioned, pretty small, the head is like half of the body.
Oh, yeah.
Their head, it's a unit of a noggin on this dude. This dude's head is so big. He's built like a bobblehead. The head is so big. It's so much mass of the animal. Usually it's the tail that's taking up all the body length. This thing is like 80% head.
I feel like their center of mass is somewhere like in their collarbone.
An absolutely wild. This thing is front heavy for sure. And that is really because their head is housing these massive jaws. It's not just the jaws, but also the muscles that have to support those big jaws, right? So they have to basically, like, it's a powerhouse in there. Because kind of like hyenas, they're built for just crunching through bone. And when they're eating their prey, they are eating the whole thing. They're not leaving anything behind. They're eating the bones. They're eating the skin.
I ate the bones.
Settle down.
I ate the bones.
My mind was going back to what we talked about on the hyena episode with like the skull structures and the points where the muscles connect.
Yeah.
And I was even remembering your story about seeing the skull. Like, I think you said you went to Busch Gardens as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You got to like spend time with the people that took care of the hyenas.
You listen to me.
Yeah.
You remember the things I tell you.
And that was years ago, I bet.
Yes.
Like that episode.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. They crunch through bone. And actually, now that you mentioned that, I did watch a video from the Auckland Zoo, which is in New Zealand. And they showed how they feed their Tasmanian devils they take chunks of, it's wallaby meat. Okay. I didn't realize, apparently, marsupial meat is much more common in Australia and New Zealand than it is here.
It tracks.
It makes sense. That's where they live. But they were like, they mentioned that it's wallaby meat, like very casually, and like did not really dwell on that at all and moved on. And I was like, I guess that's more common of a thing for you to have.
That could even be roadkill, honestly.
Like, we just got it on the way to work today. Like, I just pulled over and grabbed it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had marsupial meat?
I think I had like a kangaroo jerky once in St. Augustine.
A jerky?
There's like an exotic
the jerky place.
store.
Yeah. I had kangaroo steak one time.
Oh yeah.
It was at a really fancy, I don't remember even why I was at this restaurant, but it was a really fancy place. And I didn't order it. Okay, I did not order it.
Sure.
Somebody else ordered it and offered me a bite. I did take a bite. I didn't think it was that good.
Sure.
That's me. Sorry, guys. But so anyway, they had wallaby meat and they fed it to the Tasmanian devils by hanging the chunks of meat from pulleys that are on these huge ropes that are hung up in the air. So then the Tasmanian devils had to play tug of war to pull the meat down and yank it off of the pulley.
I feel like I've seen a video of this.
Probably, yeah. It's a cool video. I mean, it's neat to watch. They do you know how a dog, when you're playing tug of war, will sink their teeth in and they do these sort of spasms where they're yanking it back. It's it looks like that. So it was really, really cool to watch. Now, I read this study. The Tasmanian devil has the strongest known bite force of any living mammal, to knowledge. I saw this claim around a lot, and so I was able to find the paper that this claim comes from. And I love the title of this paper. The title is called Bite Club. Comparative Bite Force in Big Biting Mammals and the Prediction of Predatory Behavior in Fossil Taxa, which basically lined up, the bite forces by skulls of, I think there was 40 different species of mammals that they looked at. And the Tasmanian devils was scaled for body size. They had the highest, what was called the bite force quotient. So the Tasmanian devils was the highest. Okay. Now,
Okay.
That's of the living mammals. So there's an extinct marsupial called Thylacoleo, and it would have been a marsupial lion.
Oh.
Like the marsupial version of a lion when it was alive, but they went extinct like a very long time ago.
Sure.
If they were still around, they would have beat the Tasmanian Devil, but they're not. So scoreboard. Bite force is 0 now.
You know who I believe did some study into bite force?
Who's that?
Mythbusters.
Are you being I thought you were about to say, what's his name? What's the guy that gets bit by stuff on YouTube?
I don't know.
I don't know the guy's name. I'm sorry.
You could say anything. I have no idea.
It's Coyote something. I'm sorry. And I know there's someone in our Discord who really likes him. And I'm sorry. I know you are screaming at your speakers right now. I'm sorry to this man. He's always getting bit by stuff on YouTube. And
like
that's
on purpose?
Yeah, like.
Okay. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember a Mythbusters episode where they were trying to like estimate, I think like a great white bite force, that kind of thing. Yeah.
You know what is my favorite Mythbusters episode? The Bull in the China Shop episode. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think I've seen it, but I've heard you describe it before.
It is hilarious. It is so good. They like construct an actual like maze. It's like a labyrinth of like cabinets, glass cabinets full of like porcelain china, and they let an actual bull loose in it. And like he's so gently tiptoeing. Like,
oh, no.
This poor bull, you've given him anxiety.
Yeah. Because I think people will assume like, oh, bull as they are in a rodeo, perhaps.
Where you're rage baiting this bull. Like, obviously he's mad at you. You've been griefing him. Clearly.
Take a guy on 4 Loko, put him in there.
I mean, I would be mad too. I wanted to share a quote from this paper, from the Bite Club paper, because I found this very insightful. They're talking about some of the differences between the marsupials, who tend to have higher bite forces than placental predators, which tend to have lower bite forces.
Okay.
And in the paper, they say, differences between these two groups may relate to brain volumes, which in carnivorans are around 2.5 times that of marsupial carnivores. Within a skull of given length and width, greater brain size impinges on maximal bite force. Extant carnivorans, which are the placental mammals, may have more precisely targeted killing behaviors than marsupial counterparts, and through greater efficiency may be able to accomplish similar results with less bite force. So what this means is basically that the placental carnivorans, so things like bears and felines and canines and stuff like that, they have smaller bite force because their brains tend to be bigger.
Sure.
And brain takes up more room in your skull and doesn't leave enough room for all of those muscles that make your jaws strong. So in the marsupials, they got little brains, which leaves a whole bunch of room for chomping.
There's one thing on that brain. It's bite.
No thoughts, only bite. They have one thought, and it is bite. Which is very interesting to me, the idea of like real life min-maxing, right? Like you can see them taking points out of intelligence and wisdom to put them into strength.
Do you ever have that desire to like test how hard you can bite something?
No.
No? All right.
Is this a man thing? Is this the masculine urge?
You ever like look at your own fingers like, I bet I could bite off my own finger.
I don't think that. Sometimes the thought process I have is like, if I was in a life or death situation, do I have it? And it's never about whether I have the physical capability of biting off my fingers. It's more my thought process is, do I have it in me psychologically to do it? Like, do I think I could like will myself to do it? I never think about, I assume I can do anything. That's your problem right there.
See, what we need is, you know how they have those machines that measure grip strength?
Mm-hmm.
We need one of those for bites.
They probably have that. Ask the dentist. I bet the dentist has one.
They would probably not like that question.
Well, you know what? That's what they get for stealing my teeth.
You're going to break your teeth.
That's true. They would be probably mad if you did that. I mean, I don't enjoy the sensation of biting down like on hard stuff. So I don't think I would. I don't think I will. I think I'm good. You do it and let me know. And then we can compare it to the Tasmanian Devil. I tell you whose is higher.
Well, now, his is proportional to body size. I am much bigger.
You may have him be.
So my total might be.
Your total might be. I don't think it is. I don't think. I've never seen you bite clear through like. Well, I've seen you bite some chicken bones. I bet. I don't know. Depends on the bone, I guess.
Tendon has no chance.
No, not a chance.
That's going down the hatch.
No, see, the problem is you'd have to chew that first.
I mean, mostly.
You usually skip that part. So the next thing I want to talk about for Tasmanian Devils is the one thing that most people probably know about marsupials. If you know anything about marsupials, it's what? What do you think it is?
The pouch.
The pouch. It's the pouch.
Mm-hmm.
They got a pouch. That's like what makes marsupials marsupials. Is
Yeah.
that
It has pockets.
and the sort of backstory to this is that mammals, what?
His backstory. I'm guessing which way the pouch points
Oh,
on this
that
one.
is correct. Your guess is correct. Which I'll get to in a moment.
Yeah.
Mammals originally all laid eggs because they were derived from the synapsids that laid eggs.
It reminds me of the which came first, chicken or egg, and
Egg.
it's the same. It's the same answer. It's like at some point it was not a chicken and it was already laying eggs.
Yeah, that's the easiest question ever. As soon as you like learn any taxonomy, you're like, oh yeah, egg.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
like definitely. We had eggs hundreds of millions of years before we had chickens.
Like no matter where you draw that line, it
was easy. So the monotremes, so the platypus and the echidna, are just the only mammals who still lay eggs. They just never needed to stop, and they just kept doing it forever. But that's what you call the basal trait. So the trait that their ancestors had, they still have it. The monotremes split off from other mammals kind of first, which is why they still lay eggs. And then the marsupials split off next after monotremes. So the pouch approach is really interesting because it's kind of halfway between an egg and the live birth that placental mammals do, where the benefit of the egg is not having to provide all of that like developmental, feeding and protection and warmth. Your body doesn't have to do all that. You can put it outside of your body and leave it in one place and then go do other stuff. The drawback of that is that like there's a lot of things that can happen to it, right? When you're not like protecting it inside your own body. So the placental approach is a much higher energetic investment. Like you're putting a lot more effort and a lot more of your own like body's energy into making sure that your baby reaches a point of development where it can survive without you before it leaves your body. Not like without you, but where it can survive better before it leaves your body. And then this pouch thing is kind of in the middle because when a marsupial is born, as in exits the birth canal and is no longer inside the interior of their mother's body, that is extremely early in their like gestation. Their gestation period is like maybe a month.
Right.
So when the baby leaves the birth canal, they're unrecognizable as an animal. Like they look like a little jelly bean. Like I've been pregnant a couple times, and like when you're pregnant, a lot of times they'll show you little pictures throughout your pregnancy of like, this is what your little fetus looks like now. And it's like, just kind of a pink blob with like some protrusions from it. Like that's kind of what they look like when they're born. So when a Tasmanian devil is like born, any type of marsupial, they like don't have eyelids. Yeah. Like they don't have all their limbs yet. Like they don't even have back legs.
I bet that birthing is so easy.
Literally, like they don't even.
All right.
They could just like not notice. Like it just happens. They really do not make a big deal out of it. It is easy peasy.
Yeah.
But then the pouch kind of acts like it both acts like an egg and as like an external womb because they still have nipples in the pouch. So they're still, feeding the joeys from their own body like they would in like a placenta.
Right.
But the baby is not physically inside of their body. So it's kind of a womb on the outside of the body. So it's like not fully committing
Yeah.
to the placental style yet.
Yeah. And avoiding all the potential complications of giving birth to a much more developed animal.
Which is a traumatic thing
Yes.
and often, is extremely like injurious to both parties.
Yes. And leaves you vulnerable to other predators.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
So Tasmanian devils do this, but there's kind of like a brutal spin on it
All
for
right.
Tasmanian devils. I didn't know this. This is wild. So a Tasmanian devil will give birth to dozens of babies at a time. And the babies are either called joeys, which is like a normal thing to call marsupial babies, or a special name they have is imps, which is adorable.
Oh, so these are synonyms.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were about to tell me like some are called this, but others are called this one because of a really bad reason.
Oh, no. They're called imps because they're
Okay.
little baby devils.
Okay.
It's
Got it.
cute.
Got it. Thank you.
But so anyway, the mother gives birth to up to 40 at a time.
Uh-oh.
Now, here's the problem.
Uh-huh.
What do you think the problem is?
I'm sure nowhere near that many make it.
Well, but what's the interesting thing about why?
Because they get eaten.
Well, I mean, eventually by something, probably.
No, I was thinking the mom probably.
Well, there's a limiting factor here.
Yes. How many nipples they got?
Yeah. 4. They got 4. So she's giving birth to 40 babies. Up to 40. That's like on the high end.
Oh,
It's
okay.
usually not
Okay.
that, not 40. But way more than she could possibly house.
Yeah.
And the moment they're born, it's a race. The race is on. They
I
have
see.
to dash. And remember, they're tiny little rice grain
Yeah.
fetuses. They don't have legs. They have tiny nubs. They themselves are tiny nubs. They don't have eyes. They don't have ears. They don't have like major body parts. And they have to make their way from the entry to the birth canal all the way. I mean, it's not that far because like you mentioned, the pouch opens towards the tail.
Relative to them, I guess it's probably pretty far.
It is an odyssey for them. It is a marathon to these little guys. And they got to make it into the pouch. And like you mentioned, luckily, it's a straight shot because the pouch opens towards the tail.
Right.
And then it's literally just whichever 4 make it to the nipple first.
Huh.
And once the baby like makes contact with the nipple and gets a mouth around it, the nipple like swells to lock it in place. And that baby ain't going nowhere. Like it like locks them in.
That's an uncomfortable image.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
And then the ones that didn't get locked on, they fall off. That's it.
Huh.
So they're born into the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I was going to say like toxic sibling rivalry at minute 0.
Okay, kids, race for your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. And also, it's a tough life out there, right? So even usually those 4 don't make it. You usually end up with like 2 or 3
Huh.
that actually sort of make it to adulthood. But yeah, they sort of have this battle royale gauntlet that the babies are born into. Best of luck to you, little guys. You can't say that.
Dang it.
It's okay. I'll edit a little. Oh, these little creatures make some fascinating noises that I can edit over your comment. In fact, let's take a quick break to hear from our friends on the Max Fun Network, and then I'll talk about the little noises that they make.
Say, what's the trivia show where dreams come true?
It's gotta be Go Fact Yourself.
Legend in the house.
We quiz celebrity contestants about topics they love
Then bring out surprise experts.
to delight and amaze.
And then finally tell us why you know and love the lyrics to the song Knockin' Boots by Candyman.
Joining us tonight is a rapper and producer. It's Candyman!
This is among the greatest moments of my life.
This is one of mine too. I'm loving it.
That's Go Fact Yourself.
Twice a month, every month.
Here on Maximum Fun.
Since 2017, after every Max Fun Drive, we've held a sale for Max Fun members where all of the proceeds go to a nonprofit. In December, we donated $43,000 to Transgender Law Center. $43,000. Thank you to all the Max Fun members who made this possible. Transgender Law Center champions the right of all transgender and gender nonconforming people to live freely, safely, and authentically. A mission that everyone at Max Fun supports. If you'd like to learn more or make an additional donation, go to transgenderlawcenter.org. And for anyone who needs to hear this, you belong here. You deserve to be able to be yourself, and we love you.
You want some water?
Yeah. Do you want an Altoid?
No. No, I don't want your performance-enhancing Altoids. So the next category that we rate animals on, which is ingenuity, which are behaviors, things this animal is doing with their body to solve problems they face, get around the world that they live in. I'm giving Tasmanian Devils a 6 out of 10. As I mentioned earlier, they've allocated enough of their sort of cranial real estate to chomping and didn't leave a ton of room behind for brain.
We're at that dump stat.
Dump stat. So they're the tanky barbarian, I guess. Now, the devil part of their name, the Tasmanian Devil, that part of the name comes from the sounds that they make. So Tasmanian devils, when they are like at a kill, they're at a carcass or something, and a bunch of devils have all gotten around and they're all feeding on the same carcass. The way that they communicate with each other to like establish a sort of hierarchy, like who gets this piece, who gets the better spot, who gets the better piece, is just by screaming at each other.
Oh, okay.
They make the most guttural, heinous yowling, screaming sounds. It is atrocious to hear. It is a sort of a cacophony, I must say. So when Europeans get to Tasmania, in the sort of late 18th, early 19th century, they don't really know what's going on. They can just hear, like, off in the bushes where they can't really see. They hear this sort of like haunting, visceral screaming sound, and they're like, "That's the devil. That's Satan. That's demons." So they get this name from the screaming sound that they make. Also, when they're like threatened or when they're scared or when they don't understand something, another thing that they'll do besides making these screams of the damned is they will show their teeth and jaws in a yawn. So they're not like, holding their mouth open. They do that. It looks like it's just a yawn. Yeah. Like it looks like they're yawning, but they're showing you their teeth and their jaws, which can look really, really intimidating, but it is usually a bluff. They are a lot more likely to run away than they are to actually fight back. I mean, if they do fight back, bad for you.
Yeah. Do you think they would interpret a human yawn as being an aggressive body language?
I think they interpret human presence as aggressive body language. I don't think they get that far.
So like, I'm in trouble.
Also, I found this video. It's a video from 2012, and it's from the Taronga Zoo, where zookeepers they've just had this Tasmanian devil have babies, and they're handling the little joeys to like check to see if they're like a boy or a girl, and they're handling them and, showing them on the video. And these little joeys, they do the yawn display.
Oh.
But they don't even have their teeth in yet. Teeth. They have no teeth. So they're doing this, they're trying to show off, and it's just empty gums.
Oh.
It's adorable. I'm sure they mean for it to be very scary, but it is just so cute. And just the last thing I had to say for ingenuity is that they're surprisingly very good swimmers, and they love playing in the water. There's a lot of videos of them like at zoos playing in water hoses. There's videos of like trail cams from people's yards of Tasmanian devils just like playing like in sprinklers or pools or something. They love playing in the water.
I would have thought their build makes them a little too dense for swimming.
Yeah, it looks like they just sink right to the bottom, but no, they're really good swimmers. They can book it too.
Nice.
I do wonder if maybe that big old head it's like a flotation device. It's like a built-in floaty. Oh, you know what? Because it's so empty.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that kind of brings me to the last category we rate animals on, which is aesthetics. I'm giving them a 10 out of 10. They're so cute.
Do you have a picture?
I can pull up a picture because I feel like it's probably been a while since you've looked at a picture of a Tasmanian devil. I'm going to pull up a flattering one because some of these are rude. Let me look up Tasmanian devil cute because I feel like these pictures aren't seeing the vision. Here you go.
Okay. Oh,
Look, isn't he cute?
it is cute. Oh, I like the ears.
This one's smiling.
Yeah.
It's so cute. I love their little ears. Oh, and a thing that is great about their ears is that sometimes when they get all riled up, the like increased blood flow makes their ears turn this like bright red color. So their ears they almost look like they're glowing. Mm-hmm. They're like a bright red. It's really cute. Yeah, they're adorable. They've got this little like they're mostly black, but they have this little white bib, which is great. Another thing is that they store fat in their tails.
Oh.
So you can tell if a Tasmanian devil is like well fed and healthy if they got a nice chunky little tail.
Oh, good for them.
Which is also a thing that reptiles do.
This does feel very familiar.
I mean, that's what gators do.
Yeah.
Gators store fat in their tails, which is why you eat the gator tails. Are you just now finding that out?
I guess I never connected those two things.
Yeah, why do you think they serve
I just thought it was
tail?
a nice big meaty piece of the gator.
It's the fatty part of the gator. It's not the meaty part of the gator. There's plenty of meat on them. It's the fatty part. That's why they serve the tail, because that's where all the fat goes.
Well, dang.
You learn something new every day. Look at you learning on the podcast.
Yeah, every time.
So yeah, they're so darn cute. They're just really, really sweet. I mean, you know, when they yawn, they got their teeth out. They're very intimidating, but that in itself looks pretty cool. Yeah, they're really cute. I really like them a lot. And this brings us to wrapping up. I want to talk about conservation for the Tasmanian devil because this is a wild ride. So first of all, I've already talked about the rough ride they had. Like they already had a huge extinction from a huge part of their range. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the end of the troubles for the Tasmanian devils. So in the first half of the 1800s, European population in Australia starts booming. Europeans really start coming into Australia in droves. And European settlements begin expanding into the hunting grounds and the homes of Aboriginal Tasmanians, which sparks a violent war and genocide against the Aboriginal Tasmanians. And in addition to that, Europeans also are coming in and setting up farms where they're farming things like sheep, especially. But they don't really know how to farm in Tasmania. Tasmania has a very different climate from Europe. It has a lot more temperature extremes where it can be like really hot during the day, but really cold at night.
Yeah.
It's very dry. They just don't really know how to farm there. Like they haven't really figured out the ecosystem and just poor management. Like they're just not managing their agriculture very well. So they're just like losing sheep because they're not caring for them properly or because they're not being farmed correctly in this ecosystem. But the farmers are blaming local predators for the loss of their sheep. So they're blaming the Tasmanian devil and the thylacine for the loss of, which is it's a skill issue.
Yeah.
Because those just aren't things that the Tasmanian devil and thylacine would hunt. Tasmanian devils are solitary hunters, and they wouldn't like gang up to take down a sheep is like 10 times the size of a Tasmanian devil, and they're not pack hunters. So like they wouldn't gang up on a large livestock like that. They would eat one if it was already dead.
For sure.
But they wouldn't hunt it down.
Yeah.
So the Europeans started to hunt the devils either for meat, just to eat them, or killing them preemptively. And the government even started issuing bounties for Tasmanian devils. And they did this for about 100 years.
Whoa.
So for 100 years, they're being hunted, they're being trapped, they're being poisoned. And, you know, we see this happen with the thylacine too. until in 1941, which was shortly after the death of the last thylacine, which we talked about. The government kind of learned their lesson because they tried in like the last second, they tried listing the thylacine as endangered and giving them federal protections, but like they were already gone by that point. It was too late. But they did the same thing for the Tasmanian devil in 1941. They're given federal protections to the Tasmanian devil. But unlike the thylacine, it was not too late for the devils. Their population started to recover until they reached record highs in the 1990s.
Wow.
So they actually got up to like over 50,000 Tasmanian devils and were actually doing it was a pretty solid recovery from being like nearly extinct until the 90s.
Yeah.
And something happens in the 90s. Do you know what it is?
Is it the illness?
Do you know what the illness? No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Okay.
It is the illness. I do like how ominously you said it. So in the 90s, Tasmanian devil population had been holding steady for quite a few decades, but it starts to slip a little bit. And in 1996, a Dutch photographer who's named Christo Bars makes the first documented observation of Tasmanian devils who look like they came out of like Annihilation or like The Last of Us or something. Their heads, particularly their lower jaws, are just covered in these massive growths. Like it is just these bulbous, lumpy, real body horror, gnarly looking, like huge bumps on all over their face. And over the next few years, these bumps spread. So they start showing up on other Tasmanian devils and they get farther away. And like you start to see it spread throughout Tasmania. So the cause of these bumps, these huge massive growths on the face, is identified as something called devil facial tumor disease or DFTD, which at the time of its discovery in, the early 2000s was the world's only known contagious cancer.
Wow.
Now, a few other types of contagious cancers have been discovered, but they're in like mollusks. There's like one in, I think, clams or something. And then I think there's one in dogs too.
Well, there's also diseases that are spreadable that increase your risk for developing cancer later. But this is like
an actual cancer that spreads. Huh. And the idea is that Tasmanian devils develop these, tumors in particularly around the mouth area. And because they are so prone to biting each other, especially biting each other around the face when they're like fighting like territorially or, just fighting for dominance or something like that, they tend to bite each other in the face, swapping bodily fluids in the face area and then spreading these facial tumors around within the population. And it just spreads like wildfire. It goes everywhere. And once you get it, you're probably not going to make it that long because it's going to, block off your mouth. You're not going to be able to hunt. You're not going to be able to eat properly. It's just like there's a very, very high mortality rate. Most Tasmanian devils die of it. So the numbers start to plummet again. By the early 2000s, over 2/3 of the population had been lost.
Wow.
And the current estimations that I read from an article in Australia Geographic that was actually dated like last week reported current estimates of the population at around 15,000, which is down from, remember, in 1996, it was 53,000. That's like a little over a quarter of what it was in the 90s. And then as if that weren't bad enough, that already sucks. And then in 2014, a second completely different, unrelated strain of devil facial tumor disease pops up. Not at all related to the first one, but does a similar thing, which has a lot of scientists thinking like there must be something because of the genetic bottleneck.
That's what I was going to ask next.
What were you going to ask?
Just asking if they think it's because of a lack of genetic diversity.
Yeah. So like because of the bottleneck of them having such a small population and then like growing from that could have had a lot of inbreeding, a lot of genetic problems, which might just be making them particularly prone to like facial tumor diseases.
Right.
It is really weird that it happened twice. Like, that's very strange.
Huh.
It's just really, really weird. And there have been a few attempts at trying to help the Tasmanian devils. So wildlife immunologists have tried administering vaccines, which was pretty promising in lab trials, but then it didn't end up working in the wild. They had a vaccine that was actually working pretty well, and they tried putting the vaccine in bait and like setting it out and like having wild Tasmanian devils eat the bait, which had the vaccine in it.
Yeah.
But it just didn't end up work. It worked in lab trials, but it didn't work in the wild. So they're kind of starting again on that one. They also tried culling infected devils. That didn't really do what they wanted it to do either. So conservationists have also tried keeping what they call an insurance population on an island isolated from the main population. So what they did was they took a bunch of Tasmanian devils who were captive bred. So they had no contact with like the wild Tasmanian devils who were getting this disease. And they released them on an island called Maria Island. And this is from the Australian Geographic article I was reading about this. They say, the decision to introduce devils onto Maria Island became one of the most controversial conservation strategies of the past 30 years because of the devil's impact on its native bird population. So within 4 years, devils wiped out the island's short-tailed shearwater and little penguin colonies. It also halved the island's possum population and killed many feral cats. So this is another one of those, kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the episode. Like, you really have to weigh, is establishing this safe population of Tasmanian devils worth the damage we're also doing to these other, populations?
It also kind of feels like doubling down
Yeah.
on the genetic diversity problem.
Oh, yeah. Well, this would kind of be break glass in case of emergency sort of thing, right?
Sure.
Like it's basically just like, you don't want to have to resort to only having this tiny population left, but that would be better than having none.
Yeah.
So they're kind of just putting this little pocket of them aside so that they are still wild Tasmanian devils, but aren't like in contact with the ones that are getting this disease.
Mm-hmm.
And another problem with the Maria Island population is that it isn't going to sound like a problem at first. The island has no vehicle access. You can only walk or bike on the island, which sounds like a good thing until they try re-releasing the Maria Island Tasmanian devils onto the mainland.
Oh.
And those devils have never seen a car.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do when they see a car. So they just walk right in front of it.
Right.
So like the majority of re-releases got killed by cars.
That sucks.
Yeah. Like, you think like, oh, how perfect, an island with no cars.
Yeah.
What a great place for me to raise these, animals. And then, okay, well, now they don't know anything about cars and now they get hit by cars. Which is, I don't know. I feel like that's not an easy to predict outcome of that. But when it happens, you're like, oh, God.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, I did want to end things on a more optimistic note.
Okay.
In 2020, a conservation organization called Aussie Ark released 26 Tasmanian devils into the wild in a 1,000-acre wildlife sanctuary on mainland Australia. They're back.
Okay.
They're coming back. They're bringing them home. This is an effort to reintroduce the Tasmanian devils back into their sort of lost homeland, right? Where they would have been thousands of years ago. And in 2021, Aussie Ark reported the births of 7 joeys.
Oh.
The first Tasmanian devils born in the wild in mainland Australia in over 3,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is why I was saying in the beginning, like, when you start to reintroduce them, the dingoes are still there, right? So if the dingoes were the problem, that problem is not going to go away.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's worse.
Yeah, but this is a wildlife sanctuary, right? So this is an area where they can control a lot of factors. They can protect the devils that are there. So this is a situation that they have a lot of control over, and they can make sure that like the factors are right. It reminds me a lot of Payne's Prairie in Central Florida, where they've rewilded bison out there, because it's like, it's a controlled wildlife sanctuary, and they're kind of like trying to reconstruct the ecosystem that would have been there pre-Spanish by reintroducing things like bison that lived there originally, even though they haven't been there in hundreds of years at this point. Which you couldn't necessarily do statewide. You couldn't release bison all over the state of Florida. There's other reasons why bison would not survive in the majority of Florida or do more harm than good,
Yeah.
Because then you have to think about, okay, what are they going to take down with them? Like, what are they going to outcompete?
Yeah. What were their predators that are no longer there?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I do think the reintroduction of the Tasmanian Devil is an interesting thing to see. And this, mainland Australia population could be helpful in curbing or at least they could be helpful in recovering the Tasmanian population, because they are separate from the Tasmanian population, right? So if the Tasmanian population is exterminated by this tumor disease, then having another mainland population that isn't affected by that disease could be really helpful in bringing them back if they need that. In the article I was reading, some of the ecologists and conservationists were kind of taking the stance of we got to just let them tough this one out. We got to just stand back and let them develop their natural immunity to this, because not every Tasmanian devil dies from the disease.
Sure.
Some of them recover from it, some of them just don't get it at all. They seem to have some natural immunity to it.
Yeah.
So some ecologists are just saying, let them ride it out, let them develop their own natural immunity to it, let that shake out the way it's going to shake out. So I don't know. It's an interesting developing. That's an ongoing thing. That is not over. That is still happening.
Right. Yeah. Imagine.
So I'll be interested to see how that resolves, or what path that takes over time. So that's Tasmanian Devils.
Thanks, babe.
I guess I forgot to talk about pop culture. I mean, it's really just the one, right? It's the one guy.
The guy that spins and babbles. That's it.
Absolute F tier Looney Tunes character. Dog-watered Looney Tunes character. The worst. I could not stand Taz. I don't know. Maybe that's a hot take, perhaps. Maybe I need to cool the heat on Taz. There's probably some Taz stands in the audience.
I see a lot of t-shirts and things with him on it.
I did 15 years ago, I feel like. He had a moment. Well, I feel like Looney Tunes characters in general had a moment 20 years ago. I don't know. But Taz can stay in the vault on that one. I haven't seen Taz merch in a minute, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
It's ugly design, sounds awful, atrocious, not funny.
Why'd they make him the shape of the Warner Brothers symbol? Kind of.
Probably for that exact reason that you just said out loud. That's probably it, I bet. Wait, is Looney Tunes Warner Brothers? Yeah, right?
I think so.
Wait. Okay, yeah. Oh, phew. Hold on. Did he look like the logo? No, he didn't look like the logo. What are you talking about?
I'm thinking of the WB logo that was on the...
I mean, the vaguest shape. By the absolute thinnest stretch of the imagination, you could say he looks like the Warner
I'm running with it. I'm going to make a spin-off podcast that talks about...
Yeah. I'm sure you'll do that. I'm sure you definitely do a podcast without me. So I can't think of any other Tasmanian Devil in pop culture. I really can't think of one. I mean, they should, because I do feel like while it's nice that they have some sort of cultural reference so that people have at least heard of them existing, I wish it was one that was a little kinder and presented them in a more positive light than, whatever Taz has going on.
What that movie Kangaroo Jack did for kangaroos.
No, absolutely not. I'm going to stop you right there. Bad. But yeah, I love these little guys. I was really happy to learn about them. Once I was it's surprising that we haven't talked about Tasmanian Devils. And I started Googling around and seeing what I could find. I was like, oh, there's so much here.
Yeah.
So a fascinating animal. Thank you for requesting it, Maria.
Thank you.
And thank you, Christian, for hanging out with me. And thank you, dear listener, for spending this time with us. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Hope that you learned something new, like how Christian learned about gator tails. If you liked what you heard, I would love it if you left behind some kind words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. Like, who left one recently? Let's see here. Katie Ann 96, who wrote, so fun and joyful and informative. All that was in all caps, by the way.
As it should.
Which Katie says, oh my gosh, yes, all those capital letters in the title of this review were necessary. I love the show so much. I'm an animal lover, always have been, and quite an animal nerd, again, always have been. I get to learn about my favorite animals and new animals from Ellen, Christian, and their guests, who make every episode fun, light, and full of joy. I'm sorry about this one not being as fun and light and full of joy.
I thought it was fun.
I'm having fun. That's all that matters. This is truly just the podcast I needed to come across in my search to find content to take in that's not full of fear, anger, hate, and all the rest of the stuff we get bombarded with every day. 10 out of 10 recommend. I'm glad that people are finding refuge in our podcast, something to sort of, although sometimes I do.
So don't dig too far into that.
No, don't. I know sometimes when you're learning about animals and nature and ecology and stuff, sometimes unfortunately you have to get into the unsavory, gritty stuff because it matters. But, you know, I always try to end on a positive note, and we try to have a good time and make some jokes along the way. So I'm glad that people are finding value in that. And we'd like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network alongside the other fantastic shows on the network. If you want to go check those out and learn more about how you can support our show and get access to our monthly bonus content, which is really fun, where we talk about stuff that's not animals. Mm-hmm. It's very delightful. It's all banter all the time. It's oops, all bits.
Yeah.
Oops, all banter. That's at MaximumFun.org. And last of all, we'd like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music. Thank you, Louis Zong.
Thank you so much.
Put some Tasmanian Devil screams in there. a Screamo cover.
There you go.
Do people still, is Screamo still a thing?
Was it ever?
Yes. Hey. Sorry you weren't cool, old man. Bye.
Bye.
Maximum Fun,
A worker-owned network.
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
Directly
by you.